Hello student, welcome to my channel. Today we will study three schema architecture, which is very important topic in the database management system. I hope that you have watched my previous videos related to database management system. What is three schema architecture? What do you understand by the word architecture over here? Means it is a framework. It is a framework which helps us to describe the structure of a specific database system. It is a framework which helps us to describe the specific database system. And what do you understand by the word schema? Schema means the blueprint of your database. It is a blueprint of your database, means what kind of data will be there and how the data of a table will be related to the data in the another table. That will be the schema. Okay. So this three schema architecture, it is a framework which help us to describe the structure of the specific database system. Now how you can visualize it? For example, if you want to do any kind of shopping, you will visit various e-commerce sites. Now, you will be interested in viewing various products. But as a user, you are not interested to know about how the data will be stored actually on the backend, what storage mechanism they are going to use. So you are not interested in knowing the low level details. So in this three schema architecture, you are going to separate the user application and the physical database. As you are viewing the e-commerce site, you are viewing various product, but how actually the product detail is stored in the database, you are not interested in. So over here, you can say that this kind of architecture helps us to separate the user application and the physical database. Means the unnecessary details, physical storage details on which the user is not interested in will be hidden from the user, and a separate view will be provided to the user to view the system. So a three schema architecture is a framework which helps us to describe the structure of a specific database system. And the database administrator on the backend can make any changes to the storage structure, and the user view will not be affected. So your three schema architecture will be consisting of the external schema, the conceptual schema, and the internal schema. First, we'll study what is there in the internal schema or internal level or internal view. So, it describes the physical storage structure of a database. It describes the physical storage structure, how your data will be actually stored in the database. What kind of storage space allocation method you are going to use. What kind of access path you are going to use. What will be the data compression technique? What will be the data encryption technique? What will be the optimization method you are going to use in your database? So, in short, you can say that in internal level, you are going to describe the physical storage structure of a database. You are going to implement all kind of coding, all kind of queries in the internal level. How the data will be stored in the blocks, all kind of internal detail will be there in the internal level, or you can say internal schema. I hope you understand. What do you understand by the word internal level? Okay. In three schema architecture, at the bottommost is the internal level, which describes the physical storage structure of the database. For example, if you are going to have the detail about the employee, the complete detail with the offset will be stored in the internal level, will be implemented at the internal level, and the various user will not be actually interested in knowing how the data is stored if they are the new user. Next is the conceptual level or the conceptual schema. So it describes the design of the database at the conceptual level. You are going to, before implementing the database, you are going to conceptualize how your database will look like, what will be the entity, how will be the structure, what will be the relationship among the data elements. So it describes what data are stored in the database and what relationship will exist among the tables, among the various elements of your database. And over here in the conceptual schema, you are going to hide the internal details. All the implementation details, that is the internal level details, will be hidden in the conceptual level. For example, if you are going to implement a detail about the employee, then you will just visualize that it will consist of employee number, employee name, salary, department number, post, and you will give the appropriate data types. But if you are going to implement it in the internal level, it will be converted to the specific database management system related queries, and then it will be executed. But over here, you are going to just conceptualize, you are going to describe the design of the database. That is the conceptual level. Next is the external level. Database contain various schema at this level, and this schema may also be called as subschema. It describes the different views in the database. Now, this view schema is another name for the external schema. Let's take an example. If you are going to have the university database, which will have the user like student, like faculty. Now, what the I mean student. Okay. Now, what the student is going to view? If student is going to log into the database using the credential, then the student will be able to view the attendance detail, but he will not be able to manipulate it. He will view about the course detail, about he can view his result, for example. Okay, but the student cannot view what is the salary of this faculty. He cannot change the salary of the faculty. He cannot manipulate with the attendance details. So over here, we are going to give a separate view to the user. Next is the faculty. Now faculty will be having a separate view. He or she will add the attendance detail. Then he will apply for the leave, all kind of other details. Administrator will have different view. So in the external level, every user is going to have separate view according to their requirement. And this external level is related to user. It depends upon the need of the user. It describes the user and his interaction with the data in the database. It describes the segment of the database which is needed for the certain group of user, and it hides the remaining detail from the specific group of user. Faculty detail, faculty salary, all that will be hidden from the student view. Okay. Administrator will hide other detail from the faculty view. So there are separate view for separate group of user. That is the external level. It is going to differ from user to user. So just for an example, as we are taking the employee table, employee number, employee name will be one view. Employee number, employee name, salary, department number will be separate view. So a database will be there, and for different group of user there will be different views provided. Complete database will not be provided to every user in the database management system. Next is what is the main goal of this schema of the database? Whatever we have studied, three schema architecture, what is the main goal? As we have already studied, the main goal of this three schema architecture is to customize the view of the data, and if you are going to make any of the changes in the physical database, it will not affect the user view, and database administrator can make any kind of changes in the database without disturbing the user view. Internal structure of the database should remain unaffected with the change in the physical aspect of the storage. So the main goal of this three schema architecture is the data independence. The main goal is the data independence, that is, internal level will be independent, conceptual level will be independent, and the external level will be independent. So it is much more secure, whereas you can make any kind of changes as you need. So what we have studied in a three schema architecture, the first is what are the three schema: internal level, conceptual, and the external. Internal defines the physical storage structure, conceptual schema describe the database structure, and external schema describe the what part of the database will be the user interested in and what view should be provided to the user. So I hope that you have understood about this three schema architecture, that is the external schema, conceptual schema, and internal schema. Just in short, internal schema contain all the internal level details. Conceptual schema conceptualize your database, what kind of data will be there and how it will be related, and everything once will be implemented, each user will have the separate view. So this three schema architecture is very important to separate the user view from the actual implementation. So even if there is a data migration, the user view will not be affected in it. I hope that you have understand about the three level or the three schema architecture. Thank you for watching the lecture. Kindly like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.